I got there when I was told to get there. 7:45 in the morning, I showed up in the parking lot. I told them who I was, and they said, no, you can't come. Just for context, I arrived in Manchester last night after midnight and was told then, like 7 hours before I was supposed to show up for pool duty, that they wanted a different person representing the pool for the campaign all day Monday. The pool in general is a tight-knit organization. It's very loose, but it's a tight-knit group of professionals. And to a man and woman, they all said no. The Clinton campaign does not get to choose who covers them. And that's really the controversy today.
Well, apparently they did, and maybe they do. Welcome to Gimme 5. David Martosco, political editor of the Daily Mail of London, and he's the U.S. political editor, and he was the pool reporter designated by a bunch of media outlets because all the media outlets weren't allowed to send their own representatives. So when that happens, a pool reporter who's a representative of the media outlets that can't get in, and he reports and tells them what happened. So this guy, who writes for a paper that has not been friendly to Clinton, showed up for the Hillary Clinton event yesterday and was told, see ya, goodbye. And the New York Times, I think the Washington Post, Politico, left-wing organizations are ticked off, and they've written a letter to the Clinton campaign saying, you can't tell us who's going to cover your event. Now, here's one reason why this gentleman thinks he might have been singled out.
The Guardian, AFP, the French news agency, to say nothing of the fact that several other organizations are majority or partly owned by foreign interests. That's a red herring argument. I think the real reason is between dinner time yesterday when they emailed me a confirmation saying you're the pool reporter and here's where to go, and midnight when they changed their mind, they looked at our reporting. And the Daily Mail is a very sort of dogged, thorough reporting organization, and we don't tend to show up and do what we're told. We dig deep for stories, and we find interesting stories that our readers, a massive audience, wants to read.
Well, for
and
example,
a lot of those stories the Clintons don't like.
Right. A lot of the stories the Clintons don't like. So, the excuse the Clinton camp has used was, well, you're foreign, blah, blah, blah. And as he pointed out, a lot of foreign representatives have been the pool reporter for Clinton events. So why him? Why single him out? Why turn him away? Because this is what the Clintons do, which is whatever the heck they want to do. There's one standard for all the little people, and that's everybody. And there's another standard for the Clintons who want to be your champions. She wants to be your champion. Isn't that wonderful? Here's more.
The very first episode of any kind of press coverage in Iowa was in LeClaire, Iowa. It was a breakfast meet and greet with 3 people in a coffee shop. And the campaign spun it as this is spontaneous. She just showed up in the coffee shop and sat down and talked with people. Well, I actually called one of those people afterwards, and he told me that he was invited to come. He was pre-vetted by their political director and then driven to the coffee shop, as were all the other participants. So this was a kind of a cooked-up, canned event that was anything but unscripted. And that, of course, in the storytelling of all this, that became the pattern for the Clintons. But this was the first one, and DailyMail.com, we broke that. And several other stories.
Right. Remember when they had that trip to Iowa, that Scooby-Doo thing, whatever the heck that was? Ruff, ruff, ruff. And they said, oh, she just stopped, and all these, she sat down with 3 regular people, which was a bald-faced lie, according to the man right there who broke the story. One of the guys told him, nah, I was vetted, they drove me to the place, I wasn't there by accident, they knew who I was. So they don't like that in Clinton world. When you expose the Clintons, you're the bad guy, not them for lying, you for telling the truth. More.
Every reporter from every news organization, whether you like the Clintons or not, should stand shoulder to shoulder with us. And, it's really unfortunate that we have to be the story here. This is not about the Daily Mail or DailyMail.com. It's not about me. It's about trying to make sure that reporters have the freedom to go to these events and cover them. This happened twice today, by the way. I came right over here from an evening event where Mrs. Clinton was the keynote speaker at a Flag Day dinner held by the Manchester Democratic Party. I showed up again and said, I'm the designated pool reporter, and I was told, you need to leave. I find that unacceptable and offensive, and I think most of my journalistic colleagues do as well.
Yeah, because in Clinton world, it's run like a totalitarian regime, you see. And by the way, they're going to smear this guy. They're going to find out that this guy once crossed the street against a red light, and they're going to smear, smear, smear. We're coming back.